I'd rather not.
Can we wait?
That's all I say.
Is he okay?
Yeah, that's fine. But, Chris, just I know Brian didn't play too many snaps, but from what you saw, what do you think he accomplished, and how much does that catch sort of do for his confidence moving forward?
Yeah, I think that catch can go a long way. I mean, I think you saw kind of the energy that he had after the catch, and then what the cool part was our sideline was everybody kind of erupts at that time, and you saw the guys go wild for him, come on the field, give him a high five, all that type of deal. Because we've seen that partially. You know, we see that skill set flash all the time. He makes plays here and there. He's done it through spring, done it through camp. And guys are just excited for him. Anytime a rookie comes in, puts his head down, works hard, guys can root for that. And so everybody wants him to have success, and like all of our guys. And so when a guy makes a play like that, it's a good thing for him moving forward, but for everybody around him as well to see that and believe in him.
And it was your first time sort of being on the field, calling the plays. How did that sort of go for you? Is there a big difference in your opinion?
There's a difference just in terms of what you see. You know, obviously up in the box, it's more sterile. It's just a calm environment. You can kind of spread out your call sheet, look around a little bit. And then on the field, there's more emotion that could be involved. Probably not in the preseason game, but in the regular season games, there's a lot more emotion that goes into it. But it's nice to be able to, you know, look guys in the eye when they come off, talk to them on the side, go sit next to other coaches as you get going with things and hitting through your next run list, which that's all stuff we did through the headset. But now just going and having that face-to-face interaction, that's nice as well.
Have you decided where you're going to be yet? Did you like it on the field?
I liked it on the field. We'll probably do it again this week, I assume, and just keep seeing how it goes. It's a work in progress for everybody as coaching staff of, okay, now who's providing down and distance up top? Who am I going to talk to between plays, between series, how we get through things? When coach is over on defense during a defensive drive, how are we getting his – am I just going to go talk to him directly? Do we wait for him to come back and communicate our thoughts at that point in time? So there's a lot that, you know, as you work through the preseason of who provides what in the communication in the headset that you just continue to work through. We'll change. Maybe somebody else will do down distance this week as we go and change the order of communication in between drives and things like that. But we're testing a lot of things.
Chris, where were you in Philly and Indy? Were you in the box throughout?
In Philly, I think 3 of my 8 years I was on the field. And then in Indy, I was in the box. Yeah.
Is Parker Washington's skill set different from some of the other guys in the wide receiver room?
Yeah, I think I don't think any of those guys are the same, which is cool. And that's kind of what you want. You know, a lot of teams, a lot of places I've been, we talk about building a receiver room, we talk about building a basketball team. You know, you need your guy that has different roles within the offense that they can do things. But you also want a little bit of blend to where if somebody can't do something or to keep away from tendencies, this guy has to have some sort of aspect. So I think they all have their own unique traits and things they do really, really well. And then there's enough crossover that, you know, it's not going to be this guy that can only run this. If we don't have that guy available, we can't run these schemes, we can't run this route, whatever that may be. So Parker's certainly one of those guys. You know, he's got a lot of play strength, a lot of good quickness. So we're kind of trying to find the role he could play and maximize throughout the year. You want everybody that's available to you on game day to have some sort of role. So, you know, I think we've tested him and we've been very pleased with what we've seen so far of him playing out of the slot necessarily. So I'm talking about outside receiver. He's provided a role out there throughout camp that's encouraging to see because, you know, obviously we feel very good about our slot receiver right now and Evan working out of the slot as well. So for Parker to have a role and have something on game day contributing outside is going to be another part of the game he can bring to us.
Chris, in your 3 training camps, is this the deepest the offense has been with most guys that can do things out there?
Yeah, that's probably fair to say. Yeah, I think the back end of your roster really shows in the preseason, obviously, and we feel good about the development we've had throughout the course across a lot of position groups. You know, the back end of the offensive line, it didn't feel like there was much of a drop-off when those guys came in the game, which is what you really want to see. And a lot of it, which is cool to see, is just they're carrying things that we've tried to emphasize since April over out into the field. And that's something that, you know, you want to go from the meeting room to the practice field, from the practice field to the game, and we were encouraged with what we saw so far.
What did you see from Mac and CJ? And I know obviously it's a long week ahead with joint practices, but what are your expectations in terms of who we will see a lot of in the game on Saturday?
Yeah, I think part of the success you see, or not quite the drop-off you see, is we have capable guys leading the huddle there, guys that have played a lot of football, that have a lot of starts under their belt, which is probably pretty rare for a preseason game that you have so many guys that have so much starting experience in the NFL. And I think that's a big thing. I think there's a lot of confidence when they call plays in the huddle that guys know they know what they're doing. They execute really well. I think those guys playing well helps a lot of other guys play really well. And the joint practice is a really good opportunity for us to put our quarterback in a lot of situations without exposing him to taking hits. So we can work a lot of third and long type things that you may have to hold the ball. We can introduce some new concepts that we've been trying to invest in a lot through camp that now we get a new defense to test them against, but maybe we don't want them out there to the world yet, and we're still working through some things. And then I think as far as reps with those guys in the game, I think there's a good chance, however it sorts out, and coach will make the final decision on it, I think there's a good chance you probably see those guys play a little bit more than you did the other day at least.
How much can you learn about an offense during joint practices?
Well, that's a good question. I think a big part of it is for us, we want our guys to see guys that they haven't played against a lot. You start to get you get a derby against Brian Thomas so many times. They have a good feel for each other. There's less risk involved from both sides of what we're trying to do here. They know it, we know it. We're trying something different. You tend to play a little bit differently, so it amps up the competitiveness. It amps up kind of the unknown, which is the cool part. That's football for us. But there's still a protected environment, which is a good thing. But I think for us too, as the offensive staff, there's a lot of things we want to see if they're good, see if we're good at these certain things. Maybe we need to see a new scheme to test some of them. We're trying to build tapes and learn about it and teach it for our guys as we get into this stuff. So there's a lot to learn. I really enjoy it. I think we get a lot out of it. And again, it's who you're working with and the environment they have on their staff and the way they work and what you're getting out of it. But I think it would be a great experience.
Will this be a good chance to figure out just where the offensive line is right now?
Yeah, I still think, there's no live periods in it. So ultimately that's what it is. It's taking guys to the ground is football. So there's not that. But I think you'll see this has been a very good defense for a really long time. So I think we're excited for that challenge going against these guys.
What stood out about Tim Bigsby the other night in his performance?
I think it's just a continuation of the development we've seen from him and what we expected. As he got into training camp, he runs hard. He's very physical. Tank is an appropriate name for him. So I think he's just continued to grow and develop, and you see that confidence, just like all these second-year players. They look like different players. They're the same guy, but things slow down. They're confident in the system. They're confident in the things they're asked to do. They're confident in their ability to go play. And so you see a little bit more looseness, I guess, with the guys and the way they operate in pregame, the way they play. It's not the big guys. It's kind of they know they belong at this point in time. So that was cool to see as each quarter went on, different guys made plays and had opportunities. And so that was just fun to see. And you expect another week of that now as we get into it and more guys to do that.
The second-year guy, Cooper Hodges, didn't play last year, but his first outing in a football game in the NFL.
I think he showed physicality, which across the board was something we were excited to see with our guys. Coming off the football, putting their hands on people, finishing blocks. There's a lot to improve upon, which is what we'd expect after preseason one. But it was good to see Cooper out there being physical, covering the football down the field, and I thought he did a good job.
You said before, one of the things that you want Trevor to have is more ownership of the offense, shape the offense. When does that process really kind of start taking place for this year? Is that more of like a game planning week type of thing, or is that, during OTAs, he comes to you and says, I hate this, let's get rid of this, or let's do more of this? How does that process work?
That's been going on since we started the offense. It's empowering your quarterback, and we've tried to make that clear to him from the get-go, and I would think he has accepted that and understands that. But there is constant dialogue with all those guys. Whether it's text messages, face-to-face meetings, whatever that may be, of let's talk through this. As we go through camp, we'll spend time we might watch one concept for an hour and talk through the details of it. When do we like it? When do we not? What's our issue with this concept? How do we change it? So they have a great, deeper understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. We'll talk through personnel. Who's good at this? Who's not? How do you like this? What does it complement? What complements it? And then that just allows him to now he's fully confident in a certain play. Or, hey, let's try this with a different route. And then we'll go into camp and try it against our defense with something else. And it may be, hey, we have to ask Ryan for a certain coverage. Hey, can you give us this look? And we want to see how something plays out. But now as you get into Tampa, you try some of those things. You're getting new defenses. You're getting new coverages. And so you kind of test some of the things you've been talking about since April, May, June, whatever that was.
Jaylen Jackson's been making a lot of plays on the offensive side of the ball. What have you been seeing from him?
He's done a good job, like all these young guys, just getting better every single day, understanding our targeting, the synchronization of some of the combination blocks in the zone run scheme, and then all these guys just things happen fast. You know, the game the other night happens a little faster than practice has been happening. Joint practice will be a little step up from some of the looks we've had, and then they'll get an opportunity to play in this game again. So you see those guys all kind of settle in and understand that. You know, I go back to a wide zone run we had earlier in camp. He makes one cut, he makes another cut at the second level, and we're trying to explain to him, you're probably not going to get that second cut off. And then you get in a game, you see him put his foot in the ground, get vertical, run behind his pads, and it's encouraging to see the things that, you know, maybe happened in week 1 of training camp and he improved in week 2, and then it carries over to the game field. And so he's done a good job with the opportunities he's had, and we're excited to see his development moving forward.
All right, thanks, Brett.